Hello everyone, this is ZeroJ and I'm here to bring you a tutorial of how to create wedding invitation cards. Now before I start this tutorial, I want to focus on how I create my artwork and how I finish my projects. And this will cover over some basics but not into real detail. Before I start my projects, I always create a spreadsheet. It will contain the reference image that the customer has provided or the key elements. In the beginning, I'll lay out some fonts options and I'll put them on the side so I can use them later. And then I'll place some designs on top of the card template. Nothing's firm, I'll just move everything around. I'm just sketching and getting some ideas down. I'll put down some more key information within the card that always has to be contained with the card. And now I've placed some floral patterns on top of the card template. And right now I'm going to create a clipping mask. You can see that floral patterns are going over the card template. I can use the clipping mask to mask the artwork within the card. Why clipping masks are essential is that you can edit within a mask. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean that you delete an object. And I can go in and I can add more objects within the clipping mask as well. Now then, I want to create some floral shape patterns, and I've imported the reference image and I'm simply tracing the shapes with the brush tool. You can see it on the left side. And after I roughly trace the shape, I then smooth the tool with the smooth edge. Now I'm trying to create as much patterns as I can, so I won't be limited within the ideas that I've created already. And the more patterns, the more ideas that I can make, and I won't be contained within that. And I want to give some rows more dynamic line weight, so I select the stroke has different line weight, and you can see that it changes the mood of the rows. Now I'm just kind of tweaking the rows as I want. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create this as an object and path. I outline the stroke, so it will be more easily be able for me to control, and it would be easy for me to change the colors as well. Now I'm just sketching more ideas in. Nothing's firm, I'm just moving everything around and try to get more of a dynamic feeling. Now next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to cut out that circle from that floor pattern. And what I need to do is I need to put two objects connected to overlapping each other, and then within the pathfinder I'll divide them. So what it does is it's going to make a cutout, and rather than two objects, it's going to merge them into one, but it will divide the overlapping objects. You can see that I can simply just delete that part, and then now it's one shape and I can change the color, and within that circle it won't change, it'll be empty. Now next, I kind of finalized my design, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that outline out of there. I'm going to decrease the size of the stroke and turn it gray because it'll make it more realistic and more believable. And what I'm going to do is I didn't want to stay on the white artboard, so I'm going to create a drop shadow. So after I put that drop shadow in, it will create a feeling that the artwork is interacting with the artboard itself, and it's more realistic and it's more believable. Now for the next design, I wanted to create something more cute, more playful. So I went with a font that's not as script or elegant. And then it struck me that they want something with gold foil, so I'm just creating a gradient that mimics some metallic foil look. And you can just shift the sliders and try to find what kind of color or what kind of feel or what kind of metallic feeling you want, and then apply it to your artwork. Now you see that I'm moving back and forth through artworks, different cards. It means that I'm not always stuck to my ideas while I'm working on one. They might kind of be similar, so I changed to another one, and so I can make different design and they won't overlap always. And I'm constantly changing all the artworks, and it's a dynamic process. I'm not always stuck to one idea. And for this one, I want to create some more floral patterns in there. And next, this one I wanted to have a floor pattern that's more believable. I wanted a more organic feeling to it, so I imported this image that I found online, and now I'm going to trace this with the pen tool. It takes a little more time than the brush tool, but it's more accurate, and I can always tweak it a little better because I'm still within the pen tool. And I needed this silhouette, so I'm taking my time and trying to create a good silhouette for my floor pattern. Okay, now I'm placing the artwork within the template, and I'm adjusting the size of the artwork I already created to give it a different feeling and more dominant and focus. And I'm creating more patterns that could go and make the artwork more believable and alive and give it more life. I wanted to approach this with a different feeling than just the abstract prints, silhouettes. I want to make this more playful, but still a little bit more mature. Now this is within Photoshop, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an adjustment layer on this artwork so I can change the colors. Now when I'm creating a PSD file is because when I link this to Illustrator, whatever changes I put on this Photoshop file, it would automatically go to the Illustrator file. So I don't have to resave it, I don't have to do anything else, it'll just automatically save, and it'll save a bunch of time. And now I'm creating a group, and I'm going to import that image that I just created. And then I'm gonna clip mask it. And then it makes this awesome watercolor flowers. Now next, because I put the watercolor designs in there, I want to make it in the background as well. Now, one of the good things about Photoshop and Illustrator links are that I can directly relink any artwork that I wanted to change to, or I can change the original, and I don't have to look for the file, and it will automatically take me to the file and open up in Photoshop. So you don't have to waste your time looking for the files. Now next, I see that there's watercolor. The watercolor is like it has different areas of brightness and suddenness, and I wanted to keep that feeling and use that in the flower design as well. So now I'm creating a gradient mask. This will give an area to lose or gain opacity. Now, of course, if you see in the gradient, I'm using the gradient tool to adjust which gradient I'm going to put it, and I'm sliding the layers, the adjustment points, to give it a different degree of what I want. Now the floor patterns and the watercolor design is dominant. Next, I'm going to put in the information of the wedding invitation card. Now this one I want to be more playful, so I'm putting a lot of different kind of fonts, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a path text. I'm going to select the type on path tool, and I'll use it to wrap the type around the path or an object. So I will have to create a path. It can be with the pen tool or any kind of objects. You can use the rectangles or the stars or any paths that can be created by, and you just have to simply just use the type on path tool, and you can put your type to follow that path. And you can use any of the settings that you want. You can spread the letter spacings, you can change the colors, anything that you've done with just the original type tool, you can do it within here. And when you don't use this type tool and just use the original type tool and select within the object, say that circle, it would contain the types to be constrained within that object. So it would be a type box and not a path type. So always keep that in mind. And now I'm going to use that same technique and create another opposing arch, so it'll balance out the artwork. Now I slightly changed the background color, so you see that everything's linked, and I'll just have to simply edit the original PSD file and it would automatically make the changes within the Illustrator. Now I'm creating a new design because I kind of dislike the second one. I want to build off that and create a different design because the second and first one kind of look similar. So I wanted to put some black in it and give it some more focus, because I see the second one is just everything's all around, and you know, I believe that the beginning artworks are kind of just ideas are just flying out there. You just want to get everything out, and then you suddenly build it, you get into the mood, you kind of get a sense of what's a good design, and you'll keep on advancing from there. Now I simply just use the brush tool to create the vines as well, as you've seen, and I'm slowly just changing the colors of the gold foil because the client did want the gold foil in there. But I'm kind of changing the background color of the card as well, so it can be a different design from the first one. Now I'm creating multiple artboards. I want to create another invitation card because there's going to be a main invitation card and there's going to be an RSVP card. And I want to separate them so they'll look at different families. And I'm looking back through my reference to see what kind of information needs to be on the RSVP card. And you see, I'm always kind of adventuring and trying to find better designs, and I'm always struggling. I'm not always set. Even though I struggle to create one design, I immediately throw it away if I don't feel that it's making the cut. And because they're going to be within the same family, I'm going to have to keep on the same design, and I don't want to stray off too much from the original design. Because I wouldn't put that watercolor texture within here, in the gold foil. Then they'll keep on competing and there won't be any consistency. At least I want to give some different designs to the RSVP card, because They don't want to see the same design, they want to see something different as well. So I'm always kind of struggling as well for the RSVP card, even though they're not the main thing. Now, same here. I'm trying to move things around and give it a different feeling, but I won't change the main core design. I'll change slightly the colors, because for this one, people are going to need to write on the RSVP card, and if the background is black, a dark color, their pens won't show up, and we won't know if they're going to RSVP, or they're going to come, or they're not going to come, and what their name is. So I had to change the dark background to light for the RSVP card for the watercolor one. And now what I'm doing is I'm branding my artwork, and I'm going to insert my branding, my logos, and the description of the artwork. Simply the size and materials of the card and callouts. What I'm doing is, it looks more professional, and just in case if the client needs to know what goes on within the artwork and what they need to know about it, I'll put those key informations while I do the branding, and I'll do the callouts as well. Now after this, I wanted something in the background because I dislike the plain white. I'll make it subtle, really subtle. It won't be really noticeable, but if you look closely, it will be noticeable. I just wanted to put it as lightly as possible, just enough to fill the void. It won't be too much that will overwhelm the main focus of the design artwork, but it will be there to support the artwork in that sense. And now everything's finished and it's ready to go. I'll export these files to JPEGs because I don't want the client to have access for the working files yet until they approve the artwork itself, and it will go into production. Now these are the designs. This is the first one. It has gold foil, it's light, it's like a traditional, more wedding invitation card. The next one, this was probably the fourth one I created. It was off from the second design I made, the little mistake. No, I'm pretty happy with the design itself. Next, the last one, I really enjoyed this one because it has more designs and I played around more with the fonts. And I really enjoyed that part, and I think a lot of the brides will love this design because it has floor patterns. And we're in the end, and I'm really thankful for you guys watching my tutorial. I know I was uncoordinated and everything was too fast and there was not a lot of detail. It's because the original recording was over 5 hours, and I tried my best to decrease it within 20 minutes. And I see that I lost a lot of details and it was too fast for beginners. And I promise in the future that I'll create more tutorials that's going to be more detailed, and it's going to go over the basics, and it's going to be for beginners and for people who want to know more about Illustrator as well. I think that this is just showing the process of how you work from when the client gives you a request and before the point where you ship it off to the client and showing the final artwork. And I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you like and subscribe. It'll really help me out. I'll see you guys soon. Thank you.